Hi everybody, my name is Joe Tracy. I'm really delighted to be here with you, no matter when you're viewing this, whether it's 3 months later or right now. This presentation is for any early career teachers, so student teachers, you might be training to teach, you might be newly qualified, or you might be an early career mentor and look after or support those training to teach or those newly qualified. I work for the professional body for teaching, the Charter College of Teaching, and hopefully today or this evening or this morning, no matter what time it is with you now, I'll be able to give you an insight into what it is to be a member. Hopefully we'll give you an introduction, the Charter College, why we exist, what you actually get, and also the benefits of joining. So who are we? We are your professional body. What that means is quite literally a body of professionals who are part of that profession, very much likened to doctors, nurses, accountants. You'll know that they all have their own royal colleges or chartered institutions. Until very recently, so we are only shy of 4 years old. And before that, there was a professional body for teachers, but to be quite frank, it didn't do much. So the Royal Charter was granted to us back in 2017, and we were then able to really kind of kickstart a professional body, as there was such a cry for one. One of the papers that is written, which I'd really recommend anybody interested in the history of the colleges, why is there no Royal College of Teaching? Usually what happens in professional bodies is the professionals who join the body very much safeguard high standards and kind of spearhead the latest research and insights to improve the practice of that profession. And it's no different to us. We're here to celebrate, support and connect you no matter where you are in your career, what stage, and whether you're newly qualified, you're training to teach, or if you're a chief executive of 20 schools, we're here to support you. Obviously, our overall aim is to benefit pupils and those young people that we teach. Together, we'll raise the status of the teaching profession, and that's something that we're really, really keen to do. I think especially more recently, it's currently September, and we've just gone through lockdown, and where I am here in Ireland, we've obviously got a phased plan to get out of it. But teachers have been really at the front line of things, and I think the status of teachers has definitely improved. So the more we continue to do that, the better. Our chief executive is Professor Dame Alison Peacock. She is such a brilliant woman, absolutely got a brilliant vision for the profession. She really wants to give teachers back the trust and autonomy that has been lost or eroded over the last couple of decades. She has actually been a primary school teacher and a secondary school teacher all her life. So she really does know what it's like to be on the ground at the forefront of schools. The reason she got her damehood was because she turned around a school in the worst category of special measures in just outside London to one of the most outstanding schools 3 times over, and it was really kind of applauded on many occasions as being this national centre for excellence. After being a head teacher at that school, she then came to join us as our chief executive. She's been described as having more letters after her name than the alphabet, and that is actually true. She's had a number of accolades for her career, but she's such an absolutely brilliant pioneer and real. She's very proud to call herself a teacher as well. All the events that she goes to, she'll always introduce herself as a teacher, having done it all her life. So it's quite humbling to work for her. She's brilliant. And obviously you'll see here some of the things that she does as well. So she was one of the most recently admitted first female fellows of Queen's College in Cambridge, and she is also on the Queen's Honours Committee, as well as multiple advisory groups with the Department for Education and sector groups as well. We hold the Royal Charter for the teaching profession. This is a beautiful document which is signed by the Queen and gives us powers such as having a registered list of practitioners, being able to award post-nominals, being able to kind of accredit and provide programmes of study, as well as different honours that we have yet to bestow. It's a really interesting document though, and very much places teachers in charge of their professional destiny, as well as the sector wide. So we take it very seriously that we hold this, and it is a real honour. If you're ever in London and we're all back in the office, please do feel free to pop into us. This is just some of our members who have come to see us in the past. Membership is just £1.88 a month for NQTs. That's half price. So when you become a full member after your NQT year, it goes up to £3.75 a month. So really, really affordable. It was something that we were really keen that it was very much something that teachers could access. But also it's free for student teachers. So it's a bit like a Netflix or an Amazon subscription. You can give it a real trial for a year, see if you like it, and hopefully you'll continue on with us so that we can support you even further. The website link is www.chartered.college/join. But why is it so important? And this is something that I want to spend quite a bit of time on speaking about. I guess the first thing is Ofsted, our inspectorate. The new Ofsted framework is very much grounded around evidence and research, and we all know that in order to kind of impress or really, this is what the Ofsted inspectors are looking for. And it was actually described as being the most evidence-based inspection framework ever. But in order for teachers to be able to kind of have that evidence in their fingertips, they need access to it. So that's where the Chartered College comes in. And later on, I'll show you some of the different databases and different research digests that we have that can help you. Also, the teaching standards, if you're a student teacher or a newly qualified teacher, you will be working towards meeting these standards and maintaining them. We all know that you've obviously got different bits of evidence that you might need to gather. And throughout this presentation, I actually highlight some of the things that can really help you gather evidence towards meeting these standards. Especially some of our resources are particularly geared around it. So I'm quite looking forward to showing you. And then the early career framework. So it's currently September 2020, but from September 2021, the new early career framework comes into play. And this is a whole suite of professional development opportunities for newly qualified teachers who have an extended kind of induction year. So it's gone from 1 year to 2 years, which is a really great move. And just the Department of Education really recognised that they needed to put measures in place and support to be able to support teachers to really thrive in their first few years. The Chartered College was heavily involved with coming up with the framework, and we were really delighted with its rollout. So I guess in summary, we help with what matters most, how to make the most of your training, really important note there to gather evidence for your portfolio and any essays or assignments that you might need to do this year if you're a student teacher or potentially where you are as an NQT. How the education system works, it's a complex system, it's a complex sector. I've been working in it for a decade now, so I'd like to think I've got my head around it. How schools work, obviously every school is different, but there are certain consistencies that you see when you go from school to school. How to be the best teacher, both for your classroom pupils subject and where you can access support. So we're really a one-stop shop for everything that you might need. Whether or not we might not have it, we'll know who does, and we try to make that really accessible. We don't ever claim to be the experts on everything. And the benefits, I guess I'll go through them in depth now, but we want you to feel welcomed, confident, supported, guided, and connected. But what do you actually get? So I guess I'm going to give you a really in-depth kind of tour now of all the things you get as a member. But in summary, the knowledge and expertise of what works and why, through all the publications and things I'm about to show you. The insight created by our members. So we have over 35,000 members at the moment, and they just have such a wealth of experience that they're very willing to share. You're very lucky that you're joining teaching at a, teaching isn't a competitive profession at all. So teachers are very willing to share their practice. And then finally, connections and inspiration from colleagues across the country. Now that most things are online, actually, you're able to really come to any event that's going on at the minute, which I'll show you later on, but just being able to really draw inspiration and kind of, there's so many role models in the education sector. So hopefully the college is kind of really trying to shine a light on brilliant practice that's going on. The first thing I wanted to show you is our early career hub. There's a number of bits at the top, which I'm about to go through with you. But ultimately, this is what the landing page might look like. And we have the top bit is the support section, and that's where you can find things like making the most of the hub, finding further support. And also, we recognize that you might not know where to start. So becoming a teacher, there's really brilliant articles there that kind of advise you on where you can start and other bits of reading that you could do. You've also got the teaching standards, the early career framework, and in the finding further support bit as well, there's brilliant links to our unions, which I would absolutely recommend you join, but also other organizations like Education Support Partnership, which I didn't actually know when I was a teacher, but there's counselling and mental health services available as teachers. I guess the number one recommendation of all of this is at the bottom there, you'll see that there's a glossary of terms. And this is kind of like an acronym one-stop shop. So if you recognize that teaching has many different terms and different kind of words going around that you might not know, but you're noting in lectures and meetings at school, this is the place to go. So it has most kind of common words or things that might come out. The second section that we have is we have aligned all our resources with the Early Career Framework. If you're a student teacher, don't worry too much about the Early Career Framework and what it entails. Just think of this as a way that we've grouped our content. If you are an early career teacher taking part of the Early Career Framework, this is perfect because everything's aligned in the different strands that there are. So I've gone into the second one, how pupils learn, and I'm just going to show you a little bit what it's like. So I've got some screenshots for you. But before I do that, I really wanted to highlight that in the last year or two, since we've had student teacher membership, I've seen some amazing examples of where teachers have used our resources, which are kind of littered throughout the website, which I'm about to show you. And they've used screenshots and printed them off and annotated notes and used that as evidence in their portfolios and different assignments and planning folders towards meeting the standards. So just wanted to give that top tip, and you'll see these blue boxes popping up every now and again. So the first section, the how pupils learn and promoting good progress. So you'll see here that there's the bottom bit there with the teaching standard, and underneath that there'll be the Early Career Framework strand and the description. And then on the right there, you'll see that there's the video and different videos and different articles. This page could actually have scrolled on for much longer, but I just wanted to give you an insight into what it looks like. The first video, for example, has an introduction to the topic. And then it also has the video and then further links that you might want to do your reading, and also the ability to comment. So you can begin to have that professional dialogue with your colleagues across the country. You can also browse by tag. So if those pages aren't too kind of relevant, or they or you kind of can't find anything in those broad content themes, we have tagged all our articles by different topic areas. So for example, assessment, behavior for learning, and cognitive load theory, you can then draw everything into one place. But if that's still no good, we actually have a search function. So think of it as Teacher Google. You're able to kind of put in your queries there, and it will bring things in from different articles. I'd really recommend it. The other amazing thing to look at here is the how pupils learn and the promoting good progress page. And this is actually on the top right hand corner where it's the my profile, and it basically shows by section. So the 8 sections that I originally showed, how much you've read and engaged with of all the different articles and materials that we've got. So you'll see here, I've done not too bad, but I've only read 18% worth of the material available. It tells me what I've marked complete and then what else I could be reading. And this is a really great opportunity for you to speak to your university tutors, your school-based tutors, or indeed your mentors about well, I've read this is what I found from it, but actually I could go even further and read this. And we've seen recently that it's a really good kind of focusing conversation. We also have points available. So if you're quite competitive or you just like kind of having kind of games with yourself or even others sometimes, you can gain different points through all the different videos that you might have watched, all the different articles, and there's loads of different ways to get involved with or get points. If you're any chance of you've ever beaten me, please do let me know. There's 110 points there. The next website that I wanted to show you was our main members only website, which is called My College, and it's really your home for teaching. So you'll see we've got loads of different resources, articles, videos, journals, an extensive research database, and it's all written by teachers and other experts. And I really wanted to emphasize the other experts with there, because teachers are experts, and I really wanted to recognize that. But there are those who still might not be teaching anymore, have moved into more academia, but we really want to recognize that just there's loads of expertise in the sector. So really try to have a broad and balanced view on things. The first benefit that you'll get, if you're a student teacher, you'll get the online version of this, but if you're an NQT or a full member, you'll get the print copies which come every term. Our peer-reviewed journal Impact is absolutely brilliant. We get so much positive praise for it. And actually, out of all the Royal Colleges and chartered bodies, we actually won an award for our journal. So we're really proud of it. It comes out every term. It's an opportunity for yourself to be published. So we do our calls for papers every term. But if you want to have a read, all the back issues are online as well. Here's just some examples of some of our issues. So these were our first few, and they're always guest edited by a really incredible professor, or usually quite a prestigious editor. So the one in the middle there was guest edited by Professor Gillian William, and that was on assessment. And the one there on the right is the Science of Learning, which was sponsored by Wellcome Trust, and is really, really brilliant. Here's just some other examples of other journals that we've had. So a really broad range of topics. So you'll see there the other impacts that we've had: broad and balanced curriculum, and being able to engage with EdTech. But something that I really wanted to highlight to this group was the profession. And this was an annual that we had out for the last 2 years, but we've since brought it into the Early Career Hub, and it's now online. But ultimately, it's a really brilliant guide for anybody at the beginning of their teaching career, and it is full of short, sharp articles on everything you need to know. It's absolutely brilliant. It's predominantly written by practicing teachers and other experts, and I just can't recommend it enough. It's linked on the Early Career Hub that I showed you. However, you can look at the full version on my college at the minute. Again, really useful for your essays and portfolios, especially references of the application of theory and practice. So I'd really recommend you have a look at it. Also, we also have a number of CPD packs, which are related to impact. So for a couple of issues, we have downloadable staff training sessions with the PowerPoint, the facilitation notes, the reading, and lots of different other materials that you can use in staff training sessions, or you can actually just go through it yourself. If you're an NQT, you might want to really impress your staff or your new colleagues with being able to run a training session, but you definitely don't have to, but the option is there. We also have an extensive education research database, which is absolutely huge. You will have found it similar as university libraries. So you'll see here, I would have searched feedback, thousands of articles came up, but there's lovely functionality. You can add it to your G Drive, you can download it, you can share it with a colleague, you can email it to yourself. Really can't recommend that enough. And we recognise that teachers deserve and want the access to these full research papers and articles. We also have, and we also know and recognise that teachers might be time poor and that you might not have the time to engage with these full research articles. So the next few slides I'm going to show you are more short and concise different versions of research. So bear with me. But the first thing I wanted to say was all of what I'm about to show you, but in particular, Windows into the Classroom is really useful for your planning folders as evidence of further reading, and being able to kind of say that you tried out a strategy because you read it somewhere and then you tried it out yourself and then you reflected on it and then refined the practice. And that cyclical way of thinking is so important as a teacher. So the profession we've already gone through. Video resources are full of our previous webinars, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But we also have interviews with key policymakers in education, and also different videos of teachers teaching. Windows into the Classroom is a mix of blogs, but also videos of teachers actually sharing a strategy that they've tried out into their classroom. It's Dame Alison's real dream that it shouldn't matter if you are in a school in Newcastle or you are in a school in Bristol, you're probably facing some of the same challenges, and you should be able to peer into other teachers' classrooms. So this is where the name comes from. But really importantly, we wanted to share really high quality curated content. So everything that comes onto our website, especially Windows into the Classroom, is of really high quality and caliber. So some of the things on there, there's brilliant examples of teachers who have completely transformed their practice and really importantly progressed their pupils' learning through trying different strategies. And they always talk about why that was and why they brought it about, but what the research said and how did it go. And sometimes it always doesn't work, and that's okay to be honest about that as well. The other things are we have book reviews. So as a member, we are delighted to partner with a number of publishers, and you get up to 30% off some of the main publishers. So please do engage with some of that if you're interested in books, and especially if you're a student teacher joining us for free. Compact guides are one-page summaries, and they're really, really lovely downloads, and they're very nicely laid out as PDFs, and you can print them and put you in your folders, but also maybe you're bored in school. And you could actually even really impress your mentor and put it in their pigeonhole if they still have one, or maybe in their underneath their door. But they're really concise summaries, and they're kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum. So you have the research database with all the extensive research there, and then you've got the compact guides on the complete other side. Again, useful for your essays and portfolios this year. And then you've got the early career area or hub that we have that I showed you earlier on. Proud to Teach is our blog where we followed around, not literally, some NQTs and other teachers to talk about why they were proud to teach. And that kind of falls in line with raising the status of the teaching profession. But if you're interested in to know like what it was like and the real highs and lows that teaching has, it's a very honest account. The research digests and research reviews are kind of in the middle of the extensive research database that we have in the compact guides. So the research digests are exactly what it says on the tin, overviews of research reviews and reports that we might have. And the digest and then the research reviews are the critical analysis of original research by our members actually. So some things that come out of academia, how relevant is that to application to practice? So what the college is really trying to do is bridge the gap between theory and practice. Again, all of this is so useful for your assignments this year. So if you maybe don't have the time to do as much journal reading as possible, the digest and the compact guides and the research reviews could really, really help you out in terms of reducing your workload, which is so important. Finally, the last few slides, I just wanted to show you where some stuff about our events. So you'll see here, this is what our events page looks like. You'll also note that these events are external, so Teacher Development Trust, Research Ed, and whenever anybody approaches us to really look at promoting their events, we really do take it seriously. So only really high quality kind of providers and those who have a decent reputation in the sector are allowed on to our website. But there's really lovely functionality. You'll see here that you can split by region, theme, or organizer. Obviously, at the minute, most things are online, which has its benefits. It doesn't matter where you are, you can attend events. And also at the bottom, you'll see that there's pre-reading that you can do. So I guess if you're interested in different things, you can either do the pre-reading beforehand, see if it's interesting, or you want to engage with it, or engage with theme, region, or organizer at the top. But we also have events ourselves. So quite recently, just to give you an example of some of the stuff that we've had, we've had Tom Bennett do a behaviour techniques, and that was with Amy Forrester last week, and that was absolutely brilliant. I really, really enjoyed listening to them both. They've definitely got a massive following in terms of their behaviour kind of approaches, and there's obviously different views, but this is just a view that the college will present. Doug Lemov, again, Teach Like a Champion, absolutely brilliant. This had thousands of people log on to see, and was really, really popular. Again, one of the ways that you can teach. We would never advocate for a specific position. It's very much up to you as professionals to make decisions. And then finally, we had Paul Miller, who is I believe the first Black professor of education in the country, and he did an excellent webinar on decolonising the curriculum. Again, there was a couple of thousand people there as well. All the recordings are put in the video resources of my college. As it is September the 9th, just checking my watch to make sure, there are events this week, but if you're looking at this retrospectively, it gives you a flavour of what events we've had. So we've got Ready, Steady, Teach, Ready, Steady, NQT, it's actually the same thing. And it's basically giving you practical advice as a newly qualified teacher. So that's with Ros Wilson and a BAME Women Leaders Group leaders as well, who have just decades of experience between them. So just really giving you expert insights to your laptop. And then we have Oliver Cavagoli, who I'm always very conscious I might get his name wrong, and Tom Sherrington. And that's developing essential teaching techniques. Again, all these events are part of your membership, so please do come along, or if you missed them, you can look at them. They're all recorded online, so there's a real brilliant video bank there of previous webinars. And then this happens every year. Usually it's a face-to-face event, a day in usually in Manchester. But this year we have a week of twilight events, so in the evening, and it's called the Early Career Fest. And the link is there. The outline of the program for the couple of days has just come out, and there's absolutely brilliant people that are coming to speak to our early career teachers. So if you're any member at all can come, but I'd really recommend, we probably will begin to do this every year, and whether or not it's a conference or a festival. So we do so much to support early career teachers. So just to really kind of summarize what you get as a member before I sign off, the knowledge and expertise of what works and why through all the different publications, the digest, the members only websites that I showed you, the insight created by our members who have spent their careers in education. Just imagine the decades of experience that all our members have together and are really willing to give it to yourselves through things like our early career hub, for example. And then finally, connections and inspiration from colleagues across the country through the different networks, the events and webinars, which are so much. And then finally, if you're an NQT or indeed joining us as a full member, you will be awarded the letters MCCT. And that's really a recognition of you becoming a professional and having become qualified and joining your professional body and engaging with research. And we think this is really, really important to recognise that you're a member of the Chartered College of Teaching, MCCT. Other professions very, very proudly show their postnominals, and it really does make you stand out as a professional. So you might be looking for a job at the minute, and so you can put that after your name if you're an NQT and are able to join. Students can't use it until they upgrade to NQT, and they are an NQT as well. So I guess I always sign off with if I was in front of you now, which sadly all things COVID haven't allowed me to do, which usually we travel quite a lot around the country, but just a very, very warm welcome to such a brilliant profession. I loved my time teaching. I love being part of the education sector. It really is heartening to know that teachers like yourselves are making a difference every day. I still keep in touch with some of my pupils. I went back every year to see them. I've received letters in the past, so just really don't underestimate the difference that you make. I really do mean that wholeheartedly. And I also always say that I'm looking at the future teachers, head teachers, chief executives, offset inspectors of the profession. And I don't take that lightly. So I really do hope you join us and really help us shape the profession. I think we're at a tipping point of where we know things need to change. And there's a professional body now which is firmly established, independent of government, and we are here to discuss and really shape the future of teaching. There's the website. It's www.chartered.college/join. If you've got any questions, please do direct them to my Twitter. It's at Mr. J. Oh, it's actually at Joe Tracy, JoeTreacy. Please do any questions or at Chartered Call, and the tags are there in the bottom right hand corner. Thanks so much. Bye bye.